All right, so we're going to go over this worksheet. Let's start with that first page. What was it, 71? Okay. And let's just start with the very first one. Good place to start, right? It says, find the sum of the measures of the interior angles. Now, some of these are very wordy, so you're going to have to read, right? You're going to have to look at it, understand what they're asking for. They say find the sum. What does that mean to find the sum of something? The total of doing what to them, though? Add them all up. That's right. Okay, when you add them all up, okay, what is the total? Okay, that's the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. Right? And now I know I wasn't here, but I still taught it, right? It's on YouTube if you want to look at it. Did anybody actually go to YouTube later on to review it? I don't think so, because I think I had the same amount of hits as I did when I first put it up there. So it just showed me that you guys didn't look at it. But you're going to have to, all right, because I wasn't here personally, but I am taking today to go over it very quickly. Let me just grab a polygon. Let's grab this polygon right here. Okay, and let me just explain to you what you're trying to find here in case you're confused. It says the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. Well, what are the interior angles? The interior angles are these angles right here. Everybody see that? Okay, it's these angles right here. Now, I put one arc. It doesn't mean they're all equal to each other. I just did it just to indicate where the angles are. So what are they asking for? They're asking you to find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. Well, we came up with a formula, didn't we? Remember on the video, I went through a whole bunch of steps on how we got to it. Remember drawing the diagonals and making triangles, figuring out how many triangles were in there? Does anybody remember any of that? Yeah? Okay, I went through all that stuff, didn't I? What did I come to a conclusion? The sum of the interior angles of a polygon, it came out to a nice little formula. Do you remember what the formula was? Good. It's n minus 2 times 180. Right? That's your formula right there. That's what you need to know. I'm not going to put it on a test. You need to know how to do this. Right? It's n minus 2 times 180. Well, what in the world is the n? What am I putting in for n right here? The number of sides that you have. So this is a little different than number 1, but let's talk about this picture down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 sides to this polygon right here. Let's just do this one. All right, so how do I find the sum of all the angles? If I was to add up all of these angles right here to a 6-sided figure, I could tell you how many degrees it's going to come out to be by using this formula right here. So it's n minus 2. What is the n? It's the number of sides. So n is the, and I think they use n because it's number, okay, number of what? Sides. So it's easy. This problem right here, what do? You go 6 minus 2, and then you multiply that number by 180. Well, do this. What's 6 minus 2? It's 4 times 180. You could put that into a calculator, or you could just figure it out. 2 times 180 is 360, and then another 360. That'd be 720. So look at this. If I took all of these angles, all 6 of these angles right here, and if I added them all up, okay, I hope everybody's paying attention. I got heads on the desk. I want your heads up, please. Cookie, let's go. Get your head up, please. Thank you. If I was to take all 6 of these angles right here, and I was to add up all the angles, it's going to come out to 720 degrees. It doesn't matter what the shape of it is. As long as it's a polygon, as long as it's 6 angles, if I add up all those angles, it's going to come up to 720 degrees. Everybody understand that? All right. So, on number 1, with that said, that was just like a little mini lesson right there. So let's go back to number 1 on this worksheet. It says a nonagon. What's a nonagon? That's 9 sides. That's 9 sides. I don't have to draw it. I don't have to look at it. All I got to do is know my formula. So the formula is n minus 2 times 180. The n is how many sides I have. Well, they tell you. Well, they kind of tell you. You have to know what a nonagon is, though, don't you? All right? And we went over that on the video, too, didn't we? We listed all the names of the different polygons and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure I did. I usually do when I teach that lesson. I did, didn't I? Did I go over it? Said 3 sides was a triangle, 4 sides quadrilateral, 5 sides is pentagon. I didn't go over that? I got some people saying yes. I didn't go that high. It's in the book, okay? So you can look in the book and it's in there. I usually go up to like 10 or 12 or something like that, but it's in the book. I might have even said look in the book for the rest of them. Okay? Yeah, that's right. But anyway, you can look in the book and figure it out. So there's 9 sides. What do? You go 9 minus 2, right? Now I'm showing you every little step. You could have just done a little bit of this in your head. And what's 9 minus 2? It's 7. So you just have to figure out what 7 times 180 is. And so on this one, I would probably just use a calculator, wouldn't you? 7, whoops, not, wait a minute, let's clear this. 7 times 180. And that would be 12. I didn't do, oh, why did I put 181? Let's try it again. I put 181. I missed the 0. Let's try it one more time. 7 times 180. There we go. There's 180. There you go. 1260. Does that sound familiar? What did I just find? I found out all the degrees. If I had a 9-sided polygon, I had a polygon, okay, and I had 9 sides in there. Destiny, get your head up, please. Come on. If I had 9 sides and I wanted to figure out how many angles, or not how many angles, but how many degrees do all the angles add up to be? They'd add up to be 1,260 degrees. What if I asked you for the sum of the angles of a triangle? What is that? Without doing any math at all, what would that be? Be 180, wouldn't it? Okay. What about a 4-sided figure, like a square? You probably knew that before you even walked into geometry class. How many degrees do all the angles of a square add up to be? Did you know that or not? Maybe. Maybe you didn't. It's 360 degrees. Okay. A 4-sided figure is 360. Okay, those are ones that you might have known off the top of your head. Okay, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But a 9-sided figure, there's no way I'm just walking down the street and I just know what a 9-sided figure adds up to be. I'd have to do the math. So how do you do the math? You take 2 away from the 9, which gives you a 7. You multiply that by 180, and you get 1,260 degrees. It's as simple as that. That's about as basic as it gets. It gets harder than this, all right? You're going to have to do some manipulations here in a little bit. But that's as basic as it gets. Now, apparently, nobody except for one person remembered this formula. Okay? Well, was it that or was it the regular polygon thing? I think it might have been the regular polygon thing. Okay? But probably, if you didn't know regular polygon, probably very few of you remember this. This is something that you have to review. You've got to know it. All right? All right, enough of that. Let's just keep going. 2 and 3 is the same kind of thing. Let's look at number 4. This one says the measure of an interior angle of a regular polygon is given. So they give you the measure of an interior, let's write it down, an interior angle of a regular polygon. All right, there's a word in here that we haven't really discussed before in this problem right here, and that, what is it? It's a regular polygon. What did I just say about a regular polygon before we started recording here? All the angles are equal to each other and all the sides are equal to each other. That's right. Okay, so that's a little different. It's not that picture that I drew before. It doesn't just look like that, okay? It could look, let's see, I think I might be able to, I think if I do this, yeah, there we go. Right there. It's a little twisted, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Look at this thing right here, this polygon. This right here would be a regular polygon. Why is it a regular polygon? Because look, all the sides are equal to each other. Okay, and what else? All the angles are equal to each other. Now, putting these arcs right here does mean that all of these angles are equal. How many sides do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got the same amount of angles, don't I? Okay, so what they're telling you is this. They're giving you what each angle is actually equal to, right? And then they're going to ask for how many sides are in that polygon. Okay, so they're giving you each of the angles, and they want you to figure out how many sides does this thing have. Any idea? Now, I don't know if this answer comes out to be a 6-sided figure or not. We'll just leave that off to the side. I just want you, you're just using this just to try to give an idea of what they're giving you and what you're trying to find. So what are they giving you? They're giving you each of these angles right here. So on number 5, they're saying 108 degrees. Now, I don't know if on a 6-sided figure it's 108 degrees or not, all right? I'm just using this picture just as an illustration, okay? All right, but watch this. Let's say each of these angles was 108 degrees. How could you figure out how many sides you have? There's a couple ways you could do it. I might show you an easier way. What do you think? What if each of these was 108 degrees? And I don't know how many angles there are, and I don't know how many sides there are. Okay, how would I figure out? Well, let's do this. There's two ways to do this, but one way is a little more complicated. Do you want the easier way? That's what I would do. Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do. Okay, there is a more difficult way. Let me show you the easier way, all right? But I have to talk about something that we haven't talked about yet. But I did talk about it. So let's do this. Let's extend this side right here. Now, let's just pretend. Now, again, I know this is 6 sides, and this might not necessarily be true with this particular polygon. But let's say this angle right here, they tell us, so it's 108. What would this angle right here be? How would I figure it out? If this is 108, what's this angle right here going to be? That's right, because look, they're supplements of each other. Is anybody paying attention? Come on, you guys. Let's wake up. Let's get your heads up, please. Get your head up. Thank you. No, I asked you to get your head up, though. That's what you're not doing, okay? I need you to pay attention and focus on this, okay? I see half of you somewhere else. You're in the room, your eyes are up here, but your mind is not engaged, I can tell. So let's focus and pay attention to what I'm trying to show you how to do. So if this is 108 degrees right here, this angle right here, look at it. They're supplementary, aren't they? So how would I find that? I would just go 180 minus 108. And what does that give me? That's 72 degrees, okay? So this exterior angle right here is 72 degrees. Sometimes it's a lot easier dealing with the exterior angle than it is the interior angles. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. If this is 72 degrees, remember what we said? Now again, I don't know that this is 6 sides or not, okay? And it's not, but I'm just using this for an illustration. What if I extended this angle? This would be 72, and then each exterior angle would be 72 degrees. How in the world could I figure out how many angles do I have? Because look, all the exterior angles add up to what? We mentioned this a few minutes ago before we started recording. What do all the exterior angles add up to be? 360 degrees. So watch. If all the exterior angles add up to be 360 degrees, and each of the exterior angles was 72 degrees, how could I figure out how many angles I have? That's right. Just divide it. Take 360 divided by 72. Okay, and then we come over here and we do that on our calculator. 360 divided by 72. And that gives you 5. Okay, so this wasn't right then, was it? It's not a 6-sided figure. What is it? It's a 5-sided figure. So if I have a 5-sided figure and it's a regular polygon, each exterior angle is 72. I take 360 divided by 72 and I get 5. That means there's 5 exterior angles. Well, if there's 5 exterior angles, how many sides are there? If there's 5 angles, there's 5 sides, right? And that's how we figure it out. There's another way to do it, but I think this is the easiest way to do it. So what do? They told us the interior angle, didn't they? 108. What did we find? We found the exterior angle, right? And then I took 360, divided it by that exterior angle, and that tells me how many angles that I have. And so there's 5 angles. If there's 5 angles, there's also 5 sides. Don't put a degree here. All right, it's not 5 degrees, is it? It's 5 sides. That means I have a figure that is 5 sides. Yes. Take a pass. Let's do another one. Let's just do the next one. Let's take a look at number 5. Let's say 120 degrees. Now, what are they telling me? They're telling me the interior angle, aren't they? But I'm not really going to use the interior angle. I want to use what? the exterior angle. It's a little easier because I can always use 360 with an exterior angle, right? That's why it's nicer to go with the exterior angle. So if the interior is 120, what is true about, watch this. Let's say this is 120 degrees, and that's the exterior angle. What would the interior angle be? It would be what? It'd be, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Sorry. I'm confusing everybody. Let's just do it. Let's do like this. I'm not going to draw the whole thing because I don't know how many sides this thing has. All right, but let's just say it looks something like that. Okay, I'm only drawing a portion of this. So here's the interior angle, and that's 120 degrees. What can I find? I can find the exterior angle, can I? All right, everybody see that? So this is my interior angle. What would the exterior angle be? It would be 60 degrees, wouldn't it? Now, how do I figure out how many exterior angles do I have? Well, I do what? I take 360, because all the exterior angles add up to be 360 degrees. Everybody see that? For instance, like this. Let's think money. We all like money, right? Let's say I had 360 degrees. Or, degrees. I'm talking money. Dollars, right? So if I had $360, pull out my wallet, count $360. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give everybody $60 each. Everybody with me? Okay. So I give you 60, you 60, 60, 60, 60. How many people would I have given $60 to if I started off with a chunk of 360? How would I figure that out? That's right. I would just divide it, right? If I wanted to give you $60 and you 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, when will I run out? Well, I take 360 and I divide it by what? $60, right? If I had $360 and I was handing out groups of $60, right? You follow me on this? So how would I figure it out? I go 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. How many 60s is that? It's 6 of them, right? How did I do the math? I went 360 what? Divided by 60. Does that make any sense? Okay? So it's the same thing. How many angles do I have in my exterior angles? I got 360 altogether. If each one of them is 60 degrees, I go 360 divided by 60 degrees, and that gives me what? 6. So how many exterior angles are there? There's 6 exterior angles. That also means I have how many sides? I have 6 sides because there's the same amount of angles as there are sides. Does that make any sense at all? So that's what I did. So they told me this. I figured out the exterior angle, and then I took 360 divided by the exterior angle. That tells me how many sides I have. I sure hope you're paying attention. I still see people dozing off. All right? And that's going to be your problem. I'm trying. Listen, I'm trying. You guys, some in here are just not making an effort. And that disturbs me more than anything. Just make an effort to stay awake and to pay attention, because you're going to see this on a test and a quiz. Well, I didn't ask you to pay attention or that you could go to sleep if you understand it. I said everybody. I'm sure they were. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's look at 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's do an easier one. Well, they're all kind of the same, aren't they? Caitlin, would you say number 10? Is that the one? Let's do 9 first, and then we'll do 10. I think we have enough time to do that. So let's do 9. Let's try that again. There we go. Something like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because remember, they're not necessarily drawn to scale, are they? Alright, this is 2x plus 16 up here. This one down here is x plus 14. This one is 2x plus 16 up here. And this one is x plus 14. Well, that tells me something. It tells me that these two top angles are equal, right? And it also tells me that these two bottom angles are equal. But I mean, that could come into play here, but what do I want to do? I want to solve for x first, and then I want to find all these angles. I want to find S, T, was it U and W, right here, and W. Okay, I'm trying to find what all these angles are. But before I find each of those angles, what do you think I'm going to have to find? I'm going to have to solve for what? X, right. I've got to solve for x. So what can I do? Can I just set them all equal to each other? Is that what I want to do? No. All right. And if I just set these equal to each other, everything's going to cancel out. But what have we been talking about? I can figure out what all 4 of these angles add up to be. Right? I can find the sum of them. What is it? Is it 6? They add up. It's 4 sides. It adds up to 360. Now, how did I get that? Well, I used my formula. What's my formula? N minus 2 times what? 180. That's going to give me the sum of all the angles. It's going to give me what all 4 of these angles add up to be. That's my formula. So let's plug it in here. How many sides do I have? 4. So it's 4 minus 2 times 180. 4 minus 2 is 2 times 180 is what? 360. So all 4 of these interior angles add up to 360. Of course, the exterior angles do too, don't they? But I don't care about the exterior angles in this problem because they just give me interior. So what am I going to do with all 4 of these? What am I going to do with this, 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 and this? Okay, let's just not say, I know what you're thinking, but let's not just say set them equal to 360. They add up to equal 360, don't they? All right, so let's add them all up. Watch. 2x plus 16 plus this 2x plus 16, right? That's that one and that one added up, plus this one, which is x plus 14, plus this one right here, and that's another x plus 14. Now, I added them all up. What do they equal when I add them all up? They add up to 360 degrees. How did I know they added up to 360 degrees? I figured it out. Okay? I used my formula, n minus 2 times 180. That's why they add up to 360. It has nothing to do with the exterior angle. Okay, I don't want to confuse you on that part. Now, what do? We solve for x, don't we? So let's do that. Let's add up all the x's, add up all the like terms. 2x plus 2x is 4x, plus 1x is 5x, plus another x is 6x. All right, let's do these numbers. 16 and 16 is 32, right? Let's do that. And 14 and 14 is what? 28. So 32. And what did I say? 28. And that's 60. All right, and that equals 360. Everybody see that? What do? Subtract 60 from both sides. This is easy. So 6x equals what? 300. Divide by 6. What's 300 divided by 6? It's 50. If you can't do that in your head, put it in a calculator. Okay? Is that my answer, though? Do I just circle that? Am I finished? No, because what does the question say to do? Find each interior angle. Find each of these. So we said x is 50. All right? So you just plug it back in, don't you? What's 2 times 50? 100. What's 100 plus 16? It's 116 degrees. Look, these 2 angles are exactly the same, aren't they? Yeah, so this has got to be 116 degrees. Let's plug it back into here. 50 plus 14 is what? 64 degrees. And this is the exact same thing, isn't it? So that's 64 degrees, and there's your answers. Does that make sense? All right. Let's take a look at number 10 real quick. Looks like this. That's pretty close. This might not be drawn to scale, but that's okay. Does that look? Yeah, it looks kind of like it. Yeah, it looks a little. Yeah, there's a stretched out a little bit more, but that's okay. I don't care. It's the idea that counts. Let's see, what do we got? 7x up at the top and bottom. So, yeah, I know it's not drawn exactly like the book, but it's just to get us started. And this is what? 4x. And this is 4x. Alright, it's the same deal as what we just did, but this time we don't have 4 sides, do we? How many sides do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 sides. So all of these angles, all 6 of these angles add up to be something, don't they? Do they add up to be 360? No, not when you have a 6-sided figure. So what do we have to figure out? We're going to have to figure out what all those angles add up to be. Well, we have a formula for that, don't we? What's our formula for that? It's n minus 2, very good, times 180. All right? So how many sides did we have? We had 6 sides, right? Let's just do this in our head. What's 6 minus 2? It's 4 times 180. And that's 720. You can put that in a calculator if you want. All right? So what does that mean? That means that all 6 of these angles add up to be what? 720. So let's do that. Let's add them all up. So what do we get? We get 7x plus another 7x. How many of these do we have? We got 4 of them, right? We got. All right, so there's your 7x's, and then you got a couple 4x's, don't you? So there you go. So those are all my angles. What do they add up to be? This time 720. They don't always add up to 360, do they? They add up to be what the sum of the angles of that particular polygon is. And now we just do the math and we solve for x here. All right, let's see how many of these we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's that? 28x, right? And then plus this is what? That's an 8x. And what's that? Is that 36x? Equals 720. Divide by 36. Divide by 36. That cancels. X is, what's that? 20? Yep. Put it in a calculator and it's 20 because 36 divided by 72 is 2 with the 0 and it's 20. Is that my answer though? No, because they want you to find every single one of these angles right here. That's not hard. What did we say x was? 20, right? So what's this going to be? 7 times 20. What's 7 times 20? It's 140. Now look, I found that one. Guess what? That's going to be the same, that's going to be the same, and that's going to be the same. What do I do here? 4 times 20, which is 80. So that's 80, and that's 80 right there. And that's how you get those answers. Not hard at all, is it? But you got to know what the stuff means. Is this a regular polygon? Why not? Well, we don't really know anything about the sides, but I do know something about the angles. Right, all the angles are not equal to each other, so there's no way it's a regular polygon. All right? Let's do another one. Let's look at number 11 real quick. It says find the measures of each interior angle of each regular polygon. Okay, so it's a quadrilateral, so it's 4 sides. And I want to find out, and it's regular, which means all the angles are equal to each other. Okay, it's a regular polygon. And I want to find what each of the angles are. Find each, not the sum, but each angle. Okay? So if I have 4 sides and it's a regular polygon, what am I going to do? Well, let's find what they all add up to first. So that would be n minus 2 times 180. And then if it's 4 sides, 4 minus 2 is 2 times 180. And that's what? 360. Okay? 360 degrees. That's the sum of all the angles. But if I want to find out what each individual angle is equal to, if I got 360 degrees and all 4 of my angles are exactly the same, what math do? I divide it by 4. That's right. And what is that? That's 90 degrees. And that makes sense, because what is a regular quadrilateral? We're going to talk about this later on in this chapter, but in your head, a 4-sided figure when all the sides and all the angles are equal to each other. What kind of a thing is that? It's a square. Some are the only one paying attention? All right. It's a square, isn't it? 4 sides, all the angles are equal, all the sides are equal. That's got to be a square. Okay? You do the same thing with the other ones. All right? Let's take a look at 14 real quick. This says, find the measures of each exterior angle of this regular polygon. So watch, if you have an octagon, octagon is how many sides? It's 8 sides. And I want to find each exterior angle. Now watch this. Doesn't matter how many sides you have. What do all the exterior angles add up to be? 360. So I don't have to go through all this stuff. I know it's going to be 360. Divide that by 8. And that is 45 degrees. And that's how you do 14, 15, and 16. All right? So there you go. That's how you do. That's at least 1 or 2 from each of these problems that you had to do. All right? Make sure your name is on that worksheet and pass it forward. And we're going to do the same thing with 6-2 tomorrow. All right? So we did 6-1 today. I'm going to do the same thing with 6-2 tomorrow. Make sure you have your 6-2 with you tomorrow. I am not collecting 6-2 right now. I'm only collecting 6-1. Okay? So 6-2 I'll collect tomorrow.